What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Apple TV Plus series Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet Quarantine Special Episode. Hey, before you watch this review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you would like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. Okay, so you have already watched my previous video review of Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet entire season 1. Therefore, I don't have to go over again in details of how much I love this workplace comedy. It's fresh, it's funny, and the fact that the setting is video game industry also allows the writers to tackle some of the issues surrounding video game stigmas, including its views on females. So, we have discussed all that and more, and you can rewatch my review again right here on Rama Screen YouTube channel if you'd like. This, however, is an additional review of just this one special episode that the whole cast and crew got together and make during this global COVID pandemic. Oh, and you can't help but admire how fast they organized and coordinated this, each of them working remotely in multiple locations across the country, and they actually used their own cell phones or iPads or laptop cameras, and voila! They came up with this special episode, which is very well produced in that such short period of time. This is truly impressive. There is no other better way to describe it. So, there are multiple short plot lines going on in this episode. I'm gonna go from the wacky one all the way to the heartfelt one. Okay, those of you my fellow Mythic Quest fans, you would remember that the characters Rachel and Dana kind of have that lightning chemistry between them, you know? In this one, they're still doing their video game testing, but from home. What starts out as a 2-people FaceTime sort of deal suddenly turns into 3 when that new annoying supervisor of theirs chimes in. The name of that guy escapes me at the moment, but Rachel and Dana feel like they're stuck and they can't get rid of him. But be patient, because that guy, whatever his name is, eventually redeems himself when he suggests a pretty cool game to play to pass quarantine time. The other plot is probably my most favorite in this episode. It involves Joe trying to explain video conferencing to CW, played by Oscar winner F. Murray Abraham. I mentioned to you in my previous video review of this show that every workplace comedy needs an out-of-touch old man or old person who says and does random things that are not relevant anymore, kind of like Chevy Chase in Community. So that's practically what CW's purpose here is on Mythic Quest. But man, this is probably the funniest that character has ever been, because he would touch the wrong filter, and at one point he turned himself into a panda. Brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And clearly F. Murray Abraham is all game. He is such a good sport. We gotta give him 1,000 credits for willing to make fun of himself and play the part without shame. I mean, look at him. He puts his face or his forehead all the way close up to the camera. So adorable. He reminds me of my parents because that is such a senior thing to do. And Jo, being the easily frustrated, short-tempered person she is, she's the perfect counterpart for CW for this segment. Which is why this is my favorite, because on any other occasion, this could easily have been a Saturday Night Live sketch video that I know would go viral. The next plot has to do with the overall intention of this special episode. David wants for their video game company to donate to charity, but Brad, who handles the finances, doesn't just want to give it away without getting anything in return. And so they start this so-called charitable competition, or it's more or less a dare and a double dare, if you ask me. I'm not gonna tell you who wins, but you will be surprised and not surprised at the same time. And last but not least, it's the good old-fashioned dynamic between Ayan and Poppy. This goes to what I said earlier about heartfelt, because this episode goes unexpectedly sad, but in a good way, nearing the end. We always get this impression that because Ayan is so self-centered and narcissistic, that maybe he is not capable of empathy, but this is the episode that aims to prove that notion wrong. And you know what? Maybe it's just me, but I think there's a will they, won't they factor that the writers inserted into the working relationship of Ayan and Poppy. I don't think it will reach the so-called sexual tension, but because the way that they are written, it will always stay in the back of our heads the question of, could it be possible that they might like each other more than just as colleagues? Although I doubt that the writers will ever give us that. So, in conclusion, I would say that this special episode is the best one out of the entire season, because in this one, the comedy hits the target 98% of the time. It has a strong opening, a consistent level in between, and an incredibly entertaining ending. This episode does a fabulous job of magnifying the personality of each of these eccentric characters and reminding us of why we like them so much. And of course, the whole split screen thing. It goes without saying that it is nicely done and it's creative through and through. Obviously, for the game at the end, they only make it seem as if they shot it in one take. It's a cool trick, right? But hey, it came out great thanks to the seamless editing. Plus, the solidarity and the camaraderie among the characters are extra sweet. Whereas in other episodes, there might be some insecurity and envy and resentment in the air. But for this one, they managed to convey the whole "we are in this together" PSA really well, without having to keep hitting you in the head about it. And I don't know if they actually raised actual money for charity by doing this episode, but this quarantine episode sets a new standard for what a show, any show, could be like or how it could be done in this time of pandemic.